and welcome to this week's video. I'll be using a photograph of my children when they were tiny. I am using a piece of basil white cardstock, and I'm going to be drawing a flight path of a butterfly on the back, and then I'm getting out my sewing machine in order to stitch that. Now, having done that, my photograph and my title is going here. Then you have your butterfly flight path, and I'm using these dies and the Craftworks card paper pack scrumptious to cut out my butterflies. So here's my butterflies cut out. I'm going to be putting them onto the flight path, but before I do that, I want to use some paints to splatter. So I'm using the Shimmers Paint, which is called Bubblegum Blast, around the flight path of the butterfly. And I am using my Tim Holtz Distress Splatter tool. So I cleared that one away. I've also made myself a light blue using gum arabic, some water and a lot of mica powder, because I didn't have a light blue paint that I could use. Now that they're dry, I'm just going to layer everything in place where I want them. So I start off with the large butterflies and then go in with the medium and the smaller. Now the butterflies are quite delicate. Some of them are cut so that you can actually have them in flight. So I am actually going to use a new product which I've not used before, some silicone gel, which I'm going to use to help the butterflies maintain their height. So this was the first time I've ever used it, so bear with me. So I'm finishing off layering the butterflies down and just sort of making sure the colours tie in and they flow nicely and feel evenly spaced. So I've put my photograph out the way and I'm going to come in and stick these butterflies down. As I say, some of them have an area where you can stick it down and then leave the wings up. So I'm coming in with this silicone gel. Now, I've seen people use this on cards and other things at craft fairs and things, and it looks really, really good, but I'm not sure how to use it. So I was just putting some of that on the back of one of the butterflies to give it height, and then came in with the glue to stick the middle bit down. And having thought about this with the first one, I'm thinking this is probably not the best way of actually using this product. So rather than carry on doing it the wrong way, I'm coming in and I am just going to glue every single one of the butterflies down. I'm using just a little bit of glue in the center of all of the butterflies. And I'm going to leave the silicone until after all of the butterflies have been stuck down. So I start on the left hand side and I'm literally putting the butterflies so that they are all facing the right way to be going in this swoop around the page and the various loop-the-loops. So each one of the butterflies, although not perfectly on the actual sewing, they all face the right way. So I'm just sticking all of those down one by one so that I don't forget any of them. And I'm actually quite liking how this is coming out. We have the blue is very, very fine, very, very faint blue. And it's exactly what I was looking for. When I went through my paints before doing this page, I just had too many dark blues and they weren't gonna work. So now that I've glued all the butterflies down and they're pretty much secure where they are, I'm coming in with a little bit of this silicone gel underneath the butterflies. Some of the butterflies are very, very fine. They're very intricate, almost like lace. So there's not really anywhere where I can put the silicone and hide it. So I'm kind of struggling a little bit with this. And then I thought to myself, well, actually, this nozzle is really, really big and there's an awful lot of silicone in it. and I'm finding it hard squeezing it and getting it out. So I end up taking the nozzle off and pulling all of the silicone inside the nozzle out and putting it on this little palette knife so that I can then use my pokey tool and put the silicone gel on the edges of the butterflies where there's a little bit more paper to hide the gel so that you can't see it so much. Looking at it, having finished it, you can see a little bit of the gel, but I guess because the paper's white and so the background is white, you can't see a lot of the gel unless you really look quite hard at it. But that was the idea. I wasn't sure how to hide the silicone perfectly with these butterflies. So it's a good exercise, so teaching myself how to do this or how best to do it. So I've learned a couple of things about the gel and how to use it. And so I might use it on another page soon, maybe something that has a bit more paper to it so that I can actually hide most of the silicone away underneath whatever it is I'm trying to raise up. But yes, I thought the nozzle was quite ridiculous in that it's so long, and there was so much silicone inside the nozzle that it would just be wasted had I not ended up taking it out from the inside of the nozzle and using it off the palette knife. It's a little bit of a pitfall with the product, and I guess the issue is now I was trying to make sure that all of the silicone or most of the silicone was out of the nozzle, because potentially I can't use it again for the next project. Now I've got some Spiegel Mums. These sequins are called Dreamland, and I'm going to put some sequins. Some of them, the little blue ones, are like flower shaped, which I thought were really sweet. And then I've got normal round sequins in pink, and I'm putting those just in different places dotted around, just to add a little bit more dimension and to give a little bit of a pop. Off camera I did put a little bit of the paper backing behind the photograph and stick down the caption, so I did that off camera. So I'm just sticking these sequins in, and this is pretty much, other than my journaling, the end of my page today. It's quite a quick one because I've gone off camera and done a few bits and pieces like the sewing, and yeah, I think it's a nice, fairly simple page. It looks very effective, and it's a really pretty page of my children when they were tiny. This picture was taken 2001. So quite an old photograph of my twins and my mum there, but it's a lovely photograph that I wanted to document. Thank you very much for watching. So the last thing is, as always, is the cat going on the page, and then that is our page finished for this week. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you like this page, and please subscribe and follow, and please give me any comments that of anything you'd like to see up and coming pages. Thank you very much. Bye bye.